Eddie Politan, thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. Big hour ahead. Don't go anywhere. It's Friday night. Stay right here, okay? Let's start with what's happening in this Bahamian love triangle that we've been covering. Let me explain who everyone is. Lindsay Shiver. Take a look. 36 years old, former pageant queen, Auburn cheerleader, okay? Very active on Instagram, posting pictures of her and her husband and her family. She's married, was married to this man, Robert Shiver, who met her and they got married. They met at Auburn. He was a football player. They have 3 children together. But in 2023, things went south when Robert filed for divorce. Now, why would Robert do that? They look so happy. Well, it's because Lindsay, when she was down in the Bahamas, was hooking up with this guy, Terrence Bethel. That's her boyfriend. He's 28 years old. He's from the island of Abaco, and he worked at Grabber's Bar, okay? So she met him. She had a fling. I think they may still have feelings for each other. So this caused the divorce. So now you're in the midst of this divorce, but you've got 3 kids. So there's, you know, some issues here as well. Things get ugly. And the allegation is that Bahamian authorities intercepted a plot where Shiver and Terrence Bethel, her boyfriend, tried to hire the man with the green eyes, Farron Newbold, 29-year-old aspiring music producer, son of a respected local politician, but in this particular scenario, an alleged hitman being solicited. Now, no murder was carried out. So Robert's alive, Lindsay's alive, everyone's alive. But these 3, they're out on house arrest. They must stay in the Bahamas, including Lindsay, who's from Thomasville, Georgia. What's significant about Thomasville, Georgia? Well, tonight, what I have for you from Thomasville is some body cam video. This is video where you're going to see Lindsay Shiver and her in-laws and her mother-in-law. And apparently there is something going on at the house, and obviously this is after things are breaking up between Robert and Lindsay, and there's, you know, battles over who should have the kids, where should they be, all of that. And it gets to the point where police respond to the scene. So we've got that video to show you, which may give you a little more insight into the problems that were bubbling up before this alleged murder for hire plot was hatched. And again, no one's been killed. Bahamian authorities intercepted it, according to them, before it ever happened. So let's take a look now. This is from Thomasville, Georgia, near that $2.5 million mansion where police have to respond.
Lindsay Shiver?
Yeah.
Okay. My in-laws are in the parking lot right there, in the white Lexus.
Yeah.
I've tried to call them. This is my attorney on the phone, and have not been able to get a hold of them. But that's what I was calling for, was for y'all to come meet with me, because I'm trying to meet up with my husband right now.
Okay.
So I'm just glad they can see
Yeah.
the whole spectacle that this is becoming.
So what are y'all trying to do? Custody?
46 Thomas. I'm relocating to the compliance location at BP West.
In the divorce. He's just had my kids with my family all weekend, and I respected that. I didn't go up there with my family. On the way back this morning, they were in Wiggum 20, 30 minutes ago. They were headed home, and then I get the message that he's dropping them with his parents, who have no rights.
Okay.
So as a witness for me, that's why I called y'all, to meet me at his parents' house.
You called?
I called. I was the first one to call.
The whole reason we're here is they said that you were following them, and they said you were harassing them. And let me read it. I'm pretty sure they said threatening them, but if you didn't talk to them, then
I didn't talk to them at all.
they were saying that you were following them, obviously, and that you got a gun, which isn't illegal. It doesn't
No, I don't, though.
It doesn't matter, though.
But I don't.
And
Oh my God.
yeah.
Oh
So
my God.
she,
You're welcome to
mother-in-law,
search my car.
something is, she's freaking out apparently.
She's
but
hypomanic.
but
Just a mental issue. All three of the people in the car have a mental issue. Don't know.
yeah,
They don't need my kids.
yeah, they're saying the same thing.
10-4-84 Pat, Georgia Tech, Tango Golf, Mike 5139, TGM 5139, white car, Hyundai, SUV.
That's none of our business. All I'm saying is that's the call we got. That's why we showed
These are
up.
my kids
Yeah.
that they don't have a right to.
Yeah.
Can I try to call my husband with you right here?
You're on the phone with your lawyer, which is the way you need to take it, because I can't do anything about.
But she told me that they have no rights to my kids, so y'all would have interfered on that behalf and said they need to go with their mom.
Right, but they're not with her.
Because my husband's playing hooky around.
Yeah. Where's your husband been staying?
Oh, at my house.
Okay.
It's a lovely situation.
So he just isn't home. He hasn't come home yet. Okay.
But where are my kids?
I don't know. It must be. They got to be with your husband. If,
Which is what? Just frolicking around and can until he drops them with them?
or comes home. I don't know. If you find out that your kids are with them, then you can call us and we can go out there and you can.
But can y'all tell them that they're not to be with them, that they need to come home?
We can tell them.
She's
Y'all
left.
don't know her. You don't know her like we
No,
know.
I don't know.
So it's not a good environment. It's a toxic environment, and it's.
Well, I mean, considering not just you, but her own mom saying the same thing, I'd be inclined to believe it. You just got to understand from our perspective, we got to approach this.
So do we call the city?
objectively.
We get back home and call the city cops and tell them what's happening. The people.
Okay.
Well, we moved in with my daughter who has cancer. She lives right behind Robert and Lindsay. We were headed to where our big home is up for sale because Robert was going to bring the kids and let us see him because Lindsay was not answering their phone calls all day today. So they thought she had killed herself, to be honest, and had taken an overdose or something.
I'd just go home, avoid contact with her.
106 dials.
Get in touch with her mom.
Okay.
If y'all want to go forth with the city police about that text,
Okay.
y'all can do it together.
Okay. All right. Thank y'all.
Wow. All right. What does this all mean? Let's bring in the think tank. Joining us tonight in New York City, former senior homicide prosecutor Bernardo Villalona. Also with us in San Diego, California, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor Brian Watkins. I hope he survived the hurricane. And also in Los Angeles, Deputy Public Defender for LA County, Philip Dubé, who also got hit by Hillary out there. So I hope you guys are okay. Did you survive okay?
Oh, yeah, but a lot of water,
Okay.
a lot of rain, and mugginess.
Mugginess. Yeah, come to
yeah.
Georgia. I'll show you what
Yeah.
mugginess is. All right.
Yeah.
We just watched this video from Georgia. So Bernarda, she's interesting in all of this, but it seems like everyone thinks that she has problems. I mean, the breakup of the relationship was because I guess she flew down on the family's private plane to their home, from their $2.5 million home in Georgia to their Bahamian home, and ended up going to Grabber's Bar and got grabbed by her new boyfriend.
Seems like there's a lot going on in this case. When you look at this videos, you can also see a lot of animosity. You definitely see that she has some issues towards her husband or a man that she doesn't want to be with. You can see that she's definitely not in love with the man anymore. She's like, the man is not supposed to have my kids. Like that man over there, as if he's a completely different, total stranger to her. So this is definitely going to be used against her at her trial. This doesn't look good at all. I'm sure she's surprised that this was being recorded. Now she knows that that was recorded.
I don't know if she knows. She's down in the Bahamas. I guess she could download the app, the Court TV app. Brian, let me ask you, Brian. For me, this is another example of why I never would go into the family law business. I mean, people kind of like lose perspective of things, and that's when things go haywire, like, you know, with your Bahamian boyfriend trying to get a music producer to perform a hit.
Exactly. You know, the problem with family law is it's so driven by emotion. You know, there's not really a law. There's no real order to it. It's very emotionally driven. You know, both her and the mother seem very credible. You know, they're very polite with the officers. They seem to, you know, express their concerns very well. And, you know, the cops obviously didn't know who to believe. And that's kind of what presents here. But her animosity towards her husband is going to hurt her in her upcoming murder for hire trial, because clearly she has animosity for him. And she's not yelling, she's not upset, she's not cussing, she's very, what I would say, professional, but her animosity, as Bernarda said, does show through. And you know, that's somebody who may hire somebody to kill her husband. If I'm a juror, I'm thinking, that's the kind of person that would do something like this. I want to hear more.
Yeah, and if she was out with her lawyer before this whole plot down in the Bahamas, she probably should have asked the lawyer, hey, is it against the law in the Bahamas to solicit someone, or should I joke about it? Because that's what the defense is, that it was all just a joke, these WhatsApp messages that were going back and forth. All right, Philip Dubé, what do you make of this whole situation?
Well, first of all, there's clearly trouble in paradise. The marriage is on the rocks. But remember, let's be clear, they are separated. The marriage is over, divorce is pending. So, you know, there are irreconcilable differences here. So you're not going to see terms of endearment exchanged between the two of them, because it's clearly over. You know, the real issue is going to be whether or not she is merely venting, you know, expressing feelings of frustration, you know, and just tedium. And without some context to everything, and just, you know, an occasional offhand remark of, you know, I'm tired of him, or, you know, I wish he would die already.
But Philip,
you know,
Philip, she in that video is saying all three of them are crazy, referring to her former in-laws and her soon-to-be ex-husband. She seems to be talking that they should not, she keeps saying my children should not be around them.
Vinny, do you know how many times couples split up because of in-laws and money and things like that? You know, just because there are problems with the spouse doesn't mean there aren't problems with his folks, with the in-laws.
But it's not just problems, it's also the WhatsApp messages where she sends a picture of her husband to a guy and says, kill him.
Well, remember, there has to be context, and that goes to what I was trying to segue into a moment ago. And
I always cut him off. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's all good. But without some context, you know, look, people are allowed to vent. If my mother was arrested every time she threatened to kill me, she'd be doing life, man, okay? Seriously, they would have hauled her in and off she would have gone. People say and do crazy things, but there really was no evidence to show that there really was a true intent to kill. You know, so had she, for example, texted him, by the way, the gun is, you know, in the mailbox at the house. He's going to be there and nobody else will be there between these hours on such and such date. That clearly shows that there is some premeditated plot to end his life. And that solicitation could result in a plea. But without more, my God, most marriages have this type of venting of frustration.
Well, Bernarda, we're all witnesses now. If Philip Dubé is ever found bludgeoned to death with like a wooden spoon, we know who's going to be on the line for all this. All right, Bernarda, this is going to be down in the Bahamas, this case, but obvious connections here to the United States. The Bahamian jails, my understanding, are like the worst of the worst. That's the way they were described. She spent some time in there already. I mean, this is extremely serious for her if she spends any significant amount of time there.
Absolutely. You have to think that because we're talking about the Bahamas and not the United States, she doesn't have the protections, the constitutional protections that the United States has against cruel and unusual punishment. And even though we still have that protection in the United States, we still have issues with the jails having rodents and lack of hot water, lack of course, air conditioner, ventilation, medical. So just imagine in the Caribbean, in these islands, that when they're talking about jail, they're really talking about punishment, and the type of punishment that they give the people that are incarcerated is one that we don't see here in the United States. So she went down to the Bahamas for a vacation, and it seems that this vacation, if she's convicted, is going to last her a few years.
Yeah, you know, Brian, we've taken a look at this case trying to figure out, like, how does she end up there? She was in a marriage, college sweetheart, 3 beautiful children, this incredible mansion. You've got access to the family's private jet to go down to the Bahamas, living a good life, and it's like it's gone like that because no matter what happens here in the Bahamas, like that whole, I mean, the rest of her life will never be the same.
That's true. You know, you ever watch those episodes of Locked Up Abroad? That's what she is, locked up abroad. And that's what you don't want to be, you know. But she, you know, I don't know how juries are. I don't know how the court system works down there. And that would be scary for me. I think that's going to be scary for her because she sees court trials, at least on court TV. I'm sure she watches this show. But she doesn't know how it happens down there. So I think that's going to add an extra level of fear and anxiety that she's going to have to deal with.
Yeah, what do you think, Philip, being an American in the Bahamas on trial with 2 Bahamians? Does that have any impact, the fact that she's going to be a foreigner on trial?
You know, it could, frankly, but the fact that she resides there, you know, they will treat her like kinfolk. You know, it's when you come there as this wealthy American without any ties to the island that the hatred towards such tourists is very deep-seated. But the fact that she does have ties and she is semi-rooted there, it makes her one of them. And I think they'll give her a fair shake. And regarding the jails, remember, Vinny, they don't have the cruel and unusual punishment provision in their constitution the way we do. It just doesn't exist. We're one of the few countries on the planet that provides that protection in our Bill of Rights. So what is the message? Don't commit a crime abroad, because I'm telling you, the prisons are like dungeons. It's horrific.
Well, I think you could end that sentence a little bit earlier, like just don't commit a crime. You don't have to worry about it. But, you know, but some people who haven't committed crimes do get charged. I understand that, and that's who you all represent all the time. Okay, they're with us the whole hour. Up next.